Hello, Jen Schwimmer here. Welcome to today's vlog. A short item and then on to the main subject for today. The short item has to do with an example, a video, a short Twitter video that demonstrates how emotional the left is. Now, the left will say that we conservatives, I'm a conservative, always keep that in mind when you evaluate whatever I say. It's from the standpoint of a conservative. They'll say we don't believe in science and we are prejudiced, blah, 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 blah. We will say we conservatives about liberals that they claim to care about science, but they really don't, so on and so forth. That's another argument for another day. I want to be clear on that. What I'm talking about today is I'm talking about just being unhinged. I'm talking about liberalism, or the far left part of liberalism, being a cult, being a religion. What you're going to see in this video, it's a demonstrator, it's a white demonstrator, obviously from the left, at a Black Lives Matter rally. Well, not a Black Lives Matter rally, excuse me. I'm talking about the riots that the liberal press is trying hard not to call riots, but I'm talking about the riots that I believe last night was the fourth night of rioting in Minneapolis over the recent shooting. I'm not talking about the Chauvin trial. Those riots will come later. What I am talking about is, well, first of all, I should also note that the first three nights were the local people rioting. That was bad enough, but now the pros have come in. To reporters, these people are admitting that they're Antifa and Black Lives Matter. People coming from outside, the government officials have said the same thing in that area. Well, I would have taken it, I often take it with a grain of salt, but it's pretty clear in this case, after 3 nights, that these people are coming from outside. Plenty of time, 3 days for them to get there. So there's no doubt in my mind. But this is somebody chanting. Somebody is saying Black Lives Matter, and then he's repeating that. He's saying Black Lives Matter. It's a call and response thing. But watch him and listen to him, how emotional he is, how, well, here's a screenshot of the tweet that has the video in it. Read along with me. This display has everything to do with the individual and the need to perform, and nothing to do with the apparent cause of the protest. That is what I mean, that the cause doesn't matter. These people this mob, they like to gather in one place. They need a spark to get them all together. But watch in the video, you'll see how he is behaving. Think of a revival meeting in the old days in the South. Think of Elmer Gantry, fiction of course, but it's based on these revivals of just one of these preachers just working, or I would say religious hucksters, let's be frank. I don't want to associate them with the church. These are not really they may be ordained pastors or whatever, but they are, speaking in tongues, shouting about and just working yourself into a frenzy. Watch this guy.
Black Lives Matter! 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 Black Lives fucking matter! Black Lives 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 Matter! Black Lives.
That is not a political statement. That is cultism. That's Jim Jones, Jonestown. All they're missing is a Kool-Aid, really. And if they gave this guy Kool-Aid, he probably would drink it without a second thought. Just my guess, but I wanted you to see that. And now on to the main subject, the Supreme Court, or the attempt of our Democratic friends, some of them or a lot of them, to pack the Supreme Court. In the House, I believe it's the Judiciary Committee put forth legislation to pack the Supreme Court. And just a little aside, let's be clear of what the definition of court packing is, because our Democratic friends are trying to change it. They are justifying the packing of the Supreme Court by saying, well, the Republicans did it too with Merrick Garland. No, they did not. You have to remember, Merrick Garland was nominated to fill the seat of Antonin Scalia, who had died. In other words, to fill an existing vacancy on the court. The number on the court would still be 9, and until that seat got filled, it was temporarily at 8. This has happened in the past before. I don't want to go to great length on this part, but this has been done in the past. There have been about a dozen times when a Supreme Court vacancy occurred in a presidential year when the White House and the Senate were controlled by different parties. There's only a certain amount of time that the Senate can wait to hear a nomination, but out of those 12 times, it's either 11 or 12, I believe it's 12, out of those 12 times, in only one case was the seat filled. And in about half of the cases where the seat was not filled, as happened with Merrick Garland, the nominee never even got a hearing. It's just common sense. Politics, put it that way. You can decide whether politics is common sense. But if a Supreme Court vacancy occurs when there is a Senate controlled by one party and the White House controlled by another party, the Senate, obviously, if possible, is going to try to fill the seat with a nominee from their party. If they can, they will wait until the election to see who wins. That is not unusual, but the main point, that is not packing the court. That is filling an existing vacancy. Joe Biden can do the same thing. If we get a vacancy on the Supreme Court while Biden is president, Biden can nominate whomever he wants to fill that slot. Remember also that the Senate is, at least until 2022, controlled by the Democrats, and there is no more filibuster of Supreme Court nominees. So just about, it depends on the moderate Democrats, how liberal justice they would entertain. But it's safe to say pretty much any nominee whom Biden puts up would get confirmed. But you have to wait for that vacancy. That is not packing the Supreme Court. And it took the Republicans, it was at least 20 years. It's been a 20-year project to get a conservative majority on the Supreme Court. The Democrats just don't want to wait that long. That's pretty much their problem. I think it's especially because, well, they don't want any more conservative majority Supreme Court decisions. That's one. But also, I think they are coming to the conclusion that they're not going to be in power for a long time after 2022. So they are trying to jam through as much as they can to keep power. They are doing everything they can to hold on to power, adding states to the union to get some more Democratic senators, packing the Supreme Court to get a liberal majority while they can. There are so many other, and H.R. 1 and S.R. 1, these quote-unquote voting rights acts that are designed to enact a federal takeover of all 50 states' election laws, election process, and to put in place permanently all the shenanigans that went on during the 2020 election. They are just desperate. That's the long and short of it. They don't want to wait 20 years, but that's what they have to do. So here's my solution to the problem. This is how to solve the problem. I will just mention, well, part of it has already started. 6 Republicans, and by the way, the House, the Democrats, already put forth a law to expand the Supreme Court, Nancy Pelosi said that she's not going to bring it to the floor, so it won't be voted on. It would get filibustered in the Senate anyways, unless the Democrats eliminate the filibuster. We are assured by Joe Manchin and Kristen Sinema that that won't happen, that they would not vote for that, but who knows? It's hanging by a thread. So that's one reason, but also she said she's waiting for this commission for court reform that Joe Biden has just appointed to wait to see what they say. Hopefully they'll say that the Supreme Court should remain at 9. If they come out with a higher number, I think all hell is going to break loose, but we'll have to see what happens. But we want to prevent this expansion of the court from ever happening. We want to prevent packing the court. 6 House Republicans have put forth a constitutional amendment to keep the Supreme Court at 9. I would modify that separately personally. I would say keep it at 9 unless 2/3 vote to expand the court. I would allow on a 2/3 vote, because that, or even a 3/5 vote, it leaves the possibility. You never know what's going to happen in the future. But if not, then just keep it at 9. Ted Cruz in the Senate has proposed a similar amendment, perhaps identical amendment. Neither of those will come to a vote while Democrats control the House and the Senate. But there will come the day, hopefully soon, when Republicans will control the House and the Senate and the White House. They should definitely bring this constitutional amendment forward, and we'll see how the Democrats vote. How many of them don't vote for it? That will send a strong signal to the American people. But there is something else that they should do first to really demonstrate beyond any doubt that the liberals are hypocritical, they are being disingenuous. I would go farther to say mendacious on this idea of packing the court. There's no legitimate reason for it. They are not doing it out of the goodness of their hearts or for the goodness of the country, except to the extent that they believe the goodness of the country depends on Democrats being in power forever. But before bringing a constitutional amendment to the floor, what I would do is I would bring law onto both floors, the House and the Senate, identical to the Democrats' law. I would bring forth a law to expand the Supreme Court by whatever number. The Democrats are proposing 4, so they would have a 7-6 liberal majority on the court. I would bring forth the exact same law, bring it to the floor of both houses. I would expect, I am confident that all of the Republicans would vote against it. But let's see how many Democrats vote for it. They are saying now that this is necessary, this has to be done. But if this need to expand the Supreme Court is so urgent today, how much more urgent will it be 4 years from now? All these Democrats who want to vote for expanding the court now should want to vote for it even more 4 years from now. Who cares but if this need to expand the Supreme Court is so urgent today, how much more urgent will it be 4 years from now? So all the Democrats who are determined to vote for expanding the court today, they should be even more eager to vote for it 4 years from now, even if the Republicans have the White House and the Senate and the Congress. But let's see how many do. I, again, would expect all the Republicans to vote against it, but it gives the Democrats a chance to show that they're being honest and they're not being disingenuous and that it's not just a power grab. Because the hypocrisy would be so obvious if all these Democrats, or even most of these Democrats who are eager to vote for expanding the court today, suddenly don't want to vote for expanding the court when Republicans are in charge. That's one thing, but also, how can they bring it up in the future? How could they, after having a chance to vote to expand the Supreme Court. They all, which is what I would expect, a lot of, if not all of these same Democrats who want to vote for expanding the court now to vote against it. How can they then switch back? How can they be for expanding the Supreme Court before they were against it, before they were for expanding it? You see the problem that they would have going forward? That's my advice to the Republicans. Bring that bill to expand the court, have all these Democrats vote against it, and then bring the constitutional amendment to the floor to vote to keep the Supreme Court at 9 members, or 9 justices, because that's the other hypocrisy that could be pointed out is you just voted literally a day or an hour ago or whatever not to expand the court. Now here's the chance to just do the same thing in another way, just to make it permanent, or to require a 2/3 vote, and it's not even permanent. I sure hope somebody takes my advice. I sure hope somebody sees this vlog or knows somebody in Congress and can pass it along. But I really, really, really hope that you'll give me a thumbs up if you like this video. Share with anybody you think would also like it. Got any comments? Comment section below the video where you can put questions, suggestions for future topics. You could also subscribe. Love getting subscribers. You can visit my 3 other channels, which are my music channel, my food channel, and I have a special hot dog channel. Should be a new recipe up over the weekend or Monday. And I guess that's it, except that I really appreciate the time you spend with me. I hope you'll spend more time with me. I certainly would love to see you all again. I look forward to seeing you all again. And until I do see all of you again, bye.